Hi everyone, welcome back to i-Plex tutorials. In the previous session, I have explained the basics of SQLite. Today we will implement that SQLite in our existing app. In the previous MVC session, we have developed an app by using MVC architecture and the recycler view. But the problem is we are adding these movies statically from our code. So today we will create an activity from which the user will add movies, and those movies will be stored in SQLite and displayed over here. Right, so let's get started. Okay, so this is our existing project. Now we have to create an empty activity from which the user will add the movie. I will give the name as add movie activity. Okay, it will take some time. So our activity has been created. Now move on to layout file. We will create an UI for our activity. I will take the linear layout so it would be easy for me. The orientation as vertical, and I will give the gravity as center. Right. Now we will need one edit text and two buttons. The first button will be add movie button and the second button would be show movies button. So when the user click the show movies button, it will redirect them to this activity, main activity, in which the movies has been displayed. Right, so let's start. Okay, so our edit text has been created. Now we will create two buttons. So the add movie button has been created. Now we will create the show button. The show movies button has been also created. Now move on to Java file. We will declare our objects like edit text and button. The declaration of the objects has been done. Now we will initialize it. The initialization has also been done. Now we have to create another Java file which will insert the data to our SQLite. So let's start. I will give the name Java class as database helper. Right. Now it will extend to SQLite Open Helper, which we have discussed in the previous session. Now the SQLite Open Helper has two methods which we will implement, that is onCreate and onUpgrade. We also need to create an constructor of this. So let's create. Okay, it's done. Now we will declare some variables like database name and table name and all. Okay, it's done. So this is database version, this is database name, table name. We will take two columns, that is ID and title. Now this is the query which I have stored in string variable, that is create table, table name, column ID. I will give this as primary key and auto increment, and column title of text type. Now this constructor need 4 arguments. Right, so first is context which we will take is as it is. Now the name as db name, factory will be null, and the version should be db version. Now over here in onCreate method we will use the db.execsql method, in which we will give create table variable. So the table is created at the onCreate method. Right, in the onUpgrade we will make it empty. Right, now we will create a method from which the data is inserted in SQLite. So public long insert, and it will take the argument as string title. Now whenever the data is inserted in database, it will return the ID of that particular row. So that's why I have taken the long as return type. Now we will create the SQLite database object as SQLite database, and this dot get writable database. The get writable database will give us the permission to write in the database. Now we will create the object of content values which will be needed further. CV and new content values. Right. The content value has the method like put, in which first is key and second is the value. So our key is column title and the value will be title, which will come from here. Now we will create an object and variable of long id is equal to db.insert. Sorry, it's SQLite Database dot insert. Right, now it will need 3 arguments. First is table name that we have db underscore, no, it is db underscore, yes, right. The second argument is the column hack, which we will take as null, and the third argument is the content values. So that's why we have created an object of content values. Now we will close our connection, so SQLite Database dot close and return the ID. Now we will also need the method which will return the list of all the movies. So public, and the return type will be ArrayList. So ArrayList, which will be the type of movie model class. Sorry, yeah, movie model, and get all movies. Okay, first of all we will create the ArrayList object of movie model class. Is equal to new ArrayList, right. Now I will take an string variable of select query like this: select star from table name, order by column ID in descending order, right. We will also create the SQLite Database object db is equal to this dot get writable database. We also need to create the object of cursor class. Now what is cursor, you will ask. So this is the row, right, which will be written from SQLite. So cursor will hold that particular row and give us single data from the list, right. So we will create that, and it will be initialized like db dot row query. So row query will take 2 arguments which are compulsory. First is string SQL, which is the selection query string variable, so select query, and second is selection arguments, which we will take as null. Now we will create a condition in which cursor dot move to first, which will give as when the cursor is at the first position of the list of movies. If it is at first, then do, and we will make an variable of movie model class, movie model, as movie model and new movie model. So as you know, it will take one argument only, which is title. So cursor dot get string and cursor dot get column index as column name. So column name is called title, right. Now we will add this object in our models object, add movie model, and we will give while as cursor dot move to next. Again we will close the connection, db dot close, and return the models. Okay, it's done. Now move back to add movie activity. we will make an event of on click. Whenever user will click the movie add button, then the movie will be added. So movie add dot on click set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Right, now I will take a string str is equal to ed movie dot get text dot toString. Right, now we have to create the object of SQLite database. Sorry, not a SQLite database but the database helper class db, and we have to initialize it. db is equal to new database helper. Now it will take the 4 arguments, so we will give the context add movie activity dot this. Right, but it will require the other 3 arguments, but we already initialized that 3 arguments over here, so we just need to delete this. Right, now it's perfect. Now we will insert the edit text title, so db.insert and str, so the movie will be added in our database. Now when user click on show button, then they will be redirected to the main activity. Right, so movie show dot set on click listener new view. Right, now start activity new intent and add movie activity dot this and to the main activity dot class. Right, now move on to main activity. Over here we do not need these movie models, so just delete this. Now we will create the object of database helper, that is database helper, and initialize it is equal to new database helper and main activity dot this. Right, now it's done. So over here it will need the list, so we will give as database helper dot, we have created the method get all movies. So now the work is done. So let's run this app. Output, I have already added 2 movies. Let's see, that is Thor and Avengers. Now let's add the Iron Man. Add movie and see. The last added Iron Man will be shown as in top. So this is pure dynamic work with SQLite. I will also upload my project to GitHub and the link will be given in the description box, so you all can take the reference from that. Thank you so much guys. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.